Please subscribe to help you and your motorcycle perform better.
On the tire, the bluing is just from the sunshine.
Okay.
So there's nothing that's hugely wrong there. This tread pattern's missing here because that's nice and sharp.
My name is Dave Moss. I tune approximately 3,500 bikes per year. This is Two Click Sound.
Now steal the microphone.
All right, so did you buy, obviously bought it used. Have you serviced the forks or the shock?
No.
All right, so it's got that mileage on it. Yeah. All right. Do you put bags on it? Do you load it up? No, so it's just you and the bike?
Me. Okay. Occasionally I'll put maybe a 15-pound bag on it for a trip, but not often.
And that's not negligible. Yeah. All right, type of use? Touring, commuting?
Touring,
fun?
Having fun out here.
Okay.
A little bit of everything.
Crest, Mulholland?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. When did the Pilot Road 5s go on?
Spring. I don't have that many miles on them, maybe 5.
Okay, so this year.
Yeah.
So they're on this year. All right. Yeah. So one of the first things to look at, which we can't because the bike's immaculate, is how much travel you use. So we're out of luck there, so we'll use the tape measure and see where we are. So right now there's no static in it, but we're going to measure you on it and see how much the back collapses. So please take a seat. Okay, feet up, relax. There we go. So rebound damping is excellent at present. Okay, go ahead and dismount. Didn't move a whole lot. 20. And 60. So actually it moved 40 mil. Okay. So in terms of, you want 30 to 40 is your book smart window. So at that point, being that way, we're at the soft end of the window, which makes it plush and comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with that. On the tire, the bluing is just from the sunshine.
Okay.
So there's nothing that's hugely wrong there. This tread pattern's missing here because that's nice and sharp. And that seems to be the case all the way up to there. So where you're on the gas, and this is a soft compound, right, because of the joint, where you're on the throttle here, partially rebounds too fast. When you go to full, load it up properly and have more than half throttle, it's rebounds set correctly. So it actually, there's a midpoint in the tread pattern here where it shifts. Ideally, that midpoint should be a little lower because when you're here, you don't want the back moving around on you. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So now we've got to look at the adjustment. Mathematics says you're actually giving your weight because the shock is topped out. A little on the soft side with the OEM spring. So our preload adjuster is over here on this side, and we have no other adjustment up top for compression, but we will have a screw on the bottom for rebound. So let's see where we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 30. "39 turns." So that's with everything off. Now we have a lot of static. See how much I can pick it up?
Right.
So real world meeting college professor would be to look at the shock shaft and see how much travel you're using. If you're only using half of it, even though the number is the soft end of the spectrum, well then you need something softer, and we don't have to have you being beaten up. So shine a light down in there and see if we can see something. So that is clean all the way to the bottom, 100%.
The shaft is the shock
Yeah,
shaft, you said?
and then if you look at the bottom out bumper, it's very colorful. So it's nice and clean on the bottom too. So the setting we had was mandatory and we need more. So that would suggest the spring that was put on, which is an interesting color.
That may be an aftermarket spring, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it is. Was for your weight inadequate.
Okay.
So at that point, getting that spring changed for something that's more appropriate for your weight will give you static sag back.
Okay.
Now you can have a much more relaxed ride. So now we got to put the shock back where it was. Okay. If the spring was too strong, you'd sit on it and we get 10 millimeters of sag and 20 millimeters of static. When you have to keep crunching the spring to get you in the ballpark and the static sag disappears when the spring's too soft. That's the easy math mechanism you can use to figure it out. The other part of that then is, technically, because that's all clean, we need more. So let's put an extra 8 clicks in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now. We should have a rebound screw. I don't see anything on this side because the linkage, there it is, got it. Yes, we do. I need to get through there to that. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. There it is. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 clicks left. So we're going to come back half of that. 1, 2. Okay.
That 4 clicks left closed it down?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. So we're going to shut that down. A tire can't lie. Because when it goes down the road, the wear pattern is from the road, the oil temperature, and the way you ride. It has no option but to be truthful. So we know with the tread pattern wearing like that, we need to add more damping to it. So you can see how even here it's just eating it away. It's gone.
Right.
Right? So the tire always gives you useful information. All the way up here is a 90 degree. It's all gone. It's only when you come up here, there, where it changes and then switches across.
Okay.
So.
And we're looking at the rounding here.
Yep. The complete loss of the 90 degree angle.
And then the sharpness of that.
Correct.
Okay.
So that tells you the shock's rebounding too fast and you can go a click in clockwise. Test it. Go another click. Now, because all that material's worn away, if you get a line coming here, right, that's on the highest spot because this is all gone. So if you see a line, faint line trace back in there, that's okay. That means, whoa, I went too far, pull it back. But you got to leave the setting at least 100 miles to mature and give a different read on the tire. On the track, we can go 20 minutes and 30 miles. Based on that, we'll get a fresh read because of the abuse at the track. But at the road, we're just having fun.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense?
Yeah. So, to go again,
Yep.
you've dialed it out.
2 of 4
2 of 4.
in
And
clockwise.
if that's too much, dial it back up.
1.
1.
We know at 4, it's destroying your tire.
Yeah.
So we're trying 2 as an educated guess to see where we need to go. Okay. Now, on the front, it's supposed to go down, come up, and stop. So, very much in your favor at this point. So let's again see where we are. So this doesn't click. 1, 1 1/4, half, 1, So they're both exact. So let's go half a turn back and let's see now. All that bounce is gone, right? If I hit a big bump, fails. So let's make an executive decision here of a third. That way. That's a quarter, that's a third. And take an executive decision here that in this instance, when the oil gets hot, that it will have more control, just like we did on the rear shock. So that makes perfect sense. Now at the bottom of the shock, we also have H and C here, but we have a blank. There's nothing to adjust, it's cast. So sometimes you might get it only on one leg, so you have to walk around. And that is also a blank. So you have preload only and rebound to work with. And like we said, you're very stiff, but taking that preload away should then give the bike even weight distribution. So when it's pushed down on, it's much more even. So at this point, go ahead for a test ride, but I need you to go, are you under time constraints?
No.
I need you to go for about half an hour.
Okay.
Because I need the forks and the shock hot. So when you get back, irrespective of what I am working on, I'm going to balance the bike again, and if it pogos, I'm going to get set rebound again for hot oil. And then you will disappear for another half an hour and see how the bike stabilizes versus how it matures from cold old oil to thick, hot, thin oil. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay, you're off for your test ride. Fail. So 1/4 turn more.
Not a lot of dry roads out there.
No, I'm sure they're not. Yeah, so a 1/4 turn more, got it correct. Yeah, we need one of those two clicks has to go in with it hot. Okay, you're off. Don't ride with a projection that it's going to do this. Just go ride it. How's it feel now? Is it better or worse? Not sure. We'll give it a few more minutes. Okay, how was the ride experience? One setting better over the other, or?
Well, the whole thing is completely different, obviously. I mean, the bike was very sloppy and soft before. And the difference between that first setting when I went out, that was beautiful.
Okay.
And then that one was almost a little hard.
Yeah.
But I started to get the feedback. It almost wanted to steer itself sometimes.
So, comfortable equals lazy. A little more precise equals present in the moment.
Right.
So you can leave it like this, so you're right here. And if you're not quite there and you want to chill out for a bit, a 1/4 turn off both rebound screws and a click out of the shock rebound screw, and you're right back to, that's nice.
So a 1/4 turn out?
But everything's out.
Everything's out.
Lefty loosey.
Yeah. Okay.
So a 1/4 turn on the forks and 1 click on the rear shock. Now obviously we're getting to the end of the life of the rear shock. If you're going to keep the bike for a period of time, you need a replacement rear shock.
Just not the spring. We talked about the spring, but the whole thing.
Spring's great. You just need another shock that's serviceable, and that is not. So at this point, if you were going to keep the bike for 3 to 5 years and just enjoy riding it, investing in a shock of $600 to $800 makes perfect sense. So there's various ones out there. The ones you want are the service life longevity. You don't want 30 hours, you'd like 15,000 miles. Because it doesn't make sense, because it's not a track bike.
Right.
So looking for a shock that has greater longevity between services, cost of ownership goes down. But on the flip side of that, you have to have the parts, the access, and the service tools to be able to do it, so local people can service your item. So write this for a minute, and when you get ready to make a choice on a shock, email me and I'll give you the choices. These are the ones you will look at. Price per feature is not so much irrelevant as serviceability and accessibility to people to service it, right? So at that point, then you're much better off because you're getting a way better return on your investment.
Dave Moss can tune your suspension no matter where you are on the planet via his remote tuning service. Contact Dave on Facebook or by email, dave@davemosstuning.com.